I've shown you how to make fixed shelves. I've also shown you how to drill holes for shelf supports to fit. Now I want to show you some of the basic shelf supports that I use. These have a 5mm hole at one side which goes into the side of the cabinet, and then the shelf rests on this larger piece. These have a little flat ground into them, so they're really good for holding glass shelves. These are more like what you would use in adjustable kitchen cabinet shelves, but they're also useful for small cabinets. They just fit in a 1/4-inch hole drilled in the side of the cabinet. And these shelf supports are about as simple as you can get. It's just simply a hardwood dowel, 1/4 inch in diameter, cut to length, and you slip it in the hole in the side of the cabinet. Now these are a little bit more challenging. They're also a little bit more fun. Because you'll probably need many of them, I'll show you a technique that will allow you to make them in multiples. My first step is to take a piece of wood that's a 1/4 inch thick, and what I've done is I've drilled a series of holes down the length of it, and these are each 5/8 of an inch in diameter, and they are centered in the width of the stick. My next step is to take that strip and to cut it apart right down the middle into 2 equal pieces. And so you can see where this pin comes from, where the shape of it is formed. I'm going to take away a lot of the waste on the table saw, which will make my carving a lot easier. So I've taken an off-cut piece of stock, and I just made a cut to the right depth, so what remains here is 1/4 of an inch. And then I made a mark on each side of that, equal distance, 3/16 of an inch on each side. From that, I could line this up with my blade, and I can transfer those marks onto my sled. And so you can see if I line this up here, and I line that up there, you can see that what I will cut by moving between those two will be forming a square piece that I can carve to fit in the hole. So you can see I've got the start of my pins, and you can see that I can cut several from this same operation. A cabinet may take a dozen or more. So I have a little whittling knife, and I start by just simply laying the blade of the knife against the flat plane there and rolling it in my hand, so that I know where to carve on the top and where to carve on the bottom. And I'll do the same thing, rolling this way onto the top edge. So you can see that I have a stopping point there and there for where to do my whittling. And there are many times that you want something quiet to do in the wood shop, something a little more reflective. You can turn off all your tools and just work quietly for a little while. And you'll see that even though this may be something that some people wouldn't have the patience for, it doesn't take very long, and it's one of those small details in a cabinet that will make it uniquely your own. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfectly round, it just has to fit tightly in the hole without falling out and offering plenty of strength for supporting shelves. But now it's still not quite done. I want to do a little bit more decorative work to it, so I'm going to make a little cut there and a little cut there. On this part, I'm going to narrow the piece just a little bit by cutting in there, and the same thing here. And then with a little bit of sandpaper and a little bit of Danish oil, I've got my first finish pull. So you do that about 16 times and you'll have enough for a small cabinet.